And here we are, guys. The map, of course, as I mentioned earlier, is Antiga Shipyard, and down in the bottom left of it, will this mouz player finally be able to take down the Team Liquid player and get a win for his team? It is mouz.HeroMarine. Very young, but very capable. Good Terran player, and up at the top right part of the map, it is the enemy of mouz. It is Team Liquid Sheth, our purple Zerg player, winning 2 games already in this series, trying to go for the 3-0, bring it up to, and when you go to 3-0, that is when it becomes very, very difficult for the other team to come back.
Yeah, at that point, it's your ace only has to get 2 matches, and that's not usually, for someone like Tasia or a Hero, that's not a very tall order.
Xenio,
And if Sheth manages to get this game, they're not even going to have to use those players for a while. So this is really key. HeroMarine really has to get this game because really at this point, mouz has Morrow and Biggs in reserve, and you do not want to have to make Morrow win 3 to 4 games in order to get through. You really, at this point, I know that mouz probably thought that Morrow or Mana or Hassaz were going to get at least 1 between the 2 of them. Those are 2 of their better players at this point with Thorzan off the team.
Sure.
So, they're a little bit behind, but HeroMarine is certainly capable of beating someone like Sheth.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, he's had some really, really good games in the past and other IPL events. I've enjoyed watching him in other tournaments as well. So we'll see how he can do against Sheth. But Sheth, I mean, what a hero, man. I mean, when you put your team up 2-0, maybe even 3-0, that gives your team so much breathing room. I mean, maybe if we're lucky, we're going to get to see some players like TLO, Noni, Jinro, HeyPro. When's the last time you got to see HeyPro play, right, man?
HeyPro is a really good player.
I know.
Underrated.
HeyPro. And I mean, we've had other Team Liquid players that people may have thought, weren't going to be as big of an impact in this situation do really well. Like TLO, for instance, I think has really been improving a lot lately. And I think he'd be a great player to send up in this case. So we'll have to wait and see.
Sheth went for the hatch first. Looks like HeroMarine's going to do the standard gasless 1 racks FE. All pretty basic stuff there. There it is. There's the command center. I really don't know a whole lot about Sheth's ZVT style. I know it was a lot weaker than a ZVP for a while, but I haven't seen it in a while to work on it, so we'll have to see what he's going to do.
I feel like, in terms of matchups, that ZVT, ZVZ, not as strong for Sheth as his Zerg versus Protoss is, but in Zerg versus Terran, he is still pretty good. I'd say that's better than the ZVZ probably, although, it seems like with pro players, they have a matchup that they're kind of weak in. They work on it a lot, and then it becomes their best matchup. So every time you say, oh, I think it's this pro's weakest matchup, you don't know if it's his weakest matchup this week or if it was last week. I mean, it's constantly changing, but that's good. That means pros are, practicing and improving.
So it looks like HeroMarine just got, did he get his gas yet? He got both his gases.
He got both his gas,
So expecting a factory pretty soon. And then we'll find out
right there
what he's going to do. Is this indicative of starport early on?
I think this is going to be Reactor Hellion first and foremost. Yep, there's a reactor right there. We do see players sometimes go for like cloaked banshees out of this, along with a fast third command center, just to kind of put Zerg back on their heels a little bit, give them a little bit more breathing room. But overall, what you normally see in this case is that Reactor Hellion expand followed by some barracks, and your starport, you go for kind of a marine-oriented, stim-oriented early game, which HeroMarine is certainly fond of doing, and then into a normal late game. But in this case, we actually have, where is it?
Double factory?
Yeah, where's the second factory being built? There it is on the low ground. Wow.
So it looks like we might have mech.
We might, and I will be so happy if we do. Yeah, there's a tech lab on that barracks.
So
certainly going to be mech.
This is going to be Blue Flame opening into hardcore mech, and I've actually seen Sheth struggle against this a little bit, so I'm curious as how he's going to defend it. 5-range queens certainly help, but you need spine crawlers.
Not bad. Well, even 5-range queen, if you're going up against, Hellions being produced 3 at a time out of factories with Blue Flame, it can become a bit overwhelming. But when you play mech TVZ, so we don't know for sure if that's what he's going for. It probably is, but let's talk a little bit about mech TVZ, right? So what do you do in Mech TVZ most of the time? You start with the Blue Flame Hellions. There's Blue Flame starting right now. You don't go all in with it. You don't really try hard to get into their mineral line. You don't need to.
8 to 10 Hellions about right.
Exactly, yeah. That's what you start out with. You just kind of deny creep. You're just active on the map. You try to delay their third as much as you can, cause them to maybe go for roaches and things like that. And while you're doing that, you're adding on the Thors, you're adding on the tanks, you're getting like 2 armories. Yeah, you're getting your upgrades. And the idea is just to kind of hinder Zerg enough that when your 3-base 3-3 mech push comes between 150 supply to about 200 usually is the average. Most players, in fact, prefer to max out with this type of thing. You're really, really strong. You're unbreakable at that point. So if he's going for typical mech, that's what we're going to see.
And I don't think Sheth has actually scouted this yet. He sent the Overlord in, and it didn't actually see anything. I think all it did is see,
Yep.
So he just thinks this might just be standard Hellion open. You see he has the 3 out there, but he's hiding Hellions in his base as well.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Sheth actually does not know what this is yet.
Sheth is moving an Overlord in right now, but a lot of Zerg players will just be primarily concerned.
Position.
Oh my gosh, he actually put the armory right there.
I was going to say.
Why would you put the armory right there, HeroMarine?
I thought he was going to put a supply depot there to scout for the Overlord, and I would have been like, that's really smart, but don't build the armory.
I think HeroMarine just kind of gave everything away right there. He's like, hey, Sheth, I'll give you 3 guesses why I'm getting an armory at the 8-minute mark.
Oh, it's not Thor drop.
Yeah, no, it's not that. This isn't Lost Temple. So Sheth should have a good idea about what he's going to be going up against, and will we see maybe a Roach Warren fairly soon. You can see Sheth was a little bit confused. He actually did put down a Spore Crawler.
Yeah, he thought it might have been Banshee. I mean, and who can blame him when you just see nothing with that?
I like this.
Wow.
This is cool.
I've never seen that before.
That's neat. He's going to be able to watch out for drops. So, but yeah, I would expect we're going to see either a fairly quick infestation pit or maybe
that is a lot of Hellions.
Soon, but it is indeed a lot of Hellions. And is Sheth ready for this? Oh, I don't think Sheth is ready for this, man. That's not enough roaches.
Oh, drones.
Oh, the drones.
That's a lot of dead drones.
Oh, man, that is indeed a lot of dead drones.
And it doesn't even matter to the Hellions dying. How many drones did he get? That had to be about 15.
It was exactly 15. Wow, you're good at this, man.
I'm okay sometimes. That's going to put Sheth way back.
Yeah, no Zerg player likes to be at 45 drones
even
as
with
their
the Terran,
finishes.
A mech Terran at that, and he doesn't have a Roach Warren. He doesn't have his 1-1 upgrade. Oh, he has roaches, excuse me, but he doesn't have his 1-1 upgrades yet.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's one thing he needs to kind of worry about. Sheth doing the right thing, sending those roaches into attack, right? And because of the style that HeroMarine decided to do, he went with Thors rather than Siege Tanks. Still very, very normal. I'm not criticizing him for that, but it may make it a little bit more difficult to hold this off. He's going to need to make sure that there are a couple SCVs at least here to repair.
He actually does have his Thor out in time.
Yeah, he should be fine, but he does need to be a little bit careful how he engages it. If he moves the Thor out too much, he's going to die to the roaches.
Needs to be careful. He doesn't see the Thor yet.
Yep. And it looks like, and there we go, HeroMarine. Perfect with the SCVs right there.
Sheth needs to leave now.
Really, really well done by HeroMarine. Just kind of, I feel like he may have gone a little bit overboard with the Hellions, but he was ready to defend the counter push, so that's really all that matters. The big thing with what HeroMarine is doing right now, the big thing when you play Mech TVZ, and I only play Mech TVZ, it's the only way I like to play it, you want to do damage with the Hellions. You want to be aggressive with the Hellions, but you don't want to overdo it. If you lose too many Hellions at this stage in the game, then you're going to lose the final fight. You need those Hellions to do damage, but more importantly, to buffer for the roaches, for the infestors, things like that. You need them to soak up damage and let your tanks and Thors do the work. Those are the real damage dealers. So.
Even though Sheth is ahead in supply, I would actually say HeroMarine has to feel pretty comfortable about the fact that he's managed to keep the drone count relatively low, and he already has the 4 factories out now producing tanks. Yeah, you can
usually you go 4 factories and then upgrades. Sometimes if you want to be really crazy, you can do a 5. In fact, I'm a little bit surprised actually that he doesn't have his 3rd quite yet.
Yeah,
if he did,
I thought I saw a CC building, but I guess he hasn't actually started it yet.
Well, this is going to be that more or less. I mean, there's a couple tanks up, but it's going to be more or less Thor Hellion.
Oh, he's
actually
going
to pull a lot of SCVs. Wow.
Wow.
Okay. Yep. It is going to be all-inning. Wow. Okay. So he's going to go for it. This was kind of his plan all along. getting a little bit earlier. You can see a little bit before 150 supply.
I don't know if Sheth is ready for this. Does he have infestors yet?
Well, this is a strange push. You almost never see something like this in mech play. Yeah, I've seen it very rarely. This actually used to be much more popular in the early days of StarCraft 2. People are experimenting with it, but definitely not something that Sheth is expecting. He's got a good amount of roaches right there, but will it be enough? Roaches coming in, trying to focus down the Thors.
Nice
good
flank.
positioning by Sheth, but will it be enough roaches?
Oh no, and he's going to lose a lot of roaches here too. Hellions actually do very well against roaches in very high numbers too.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot of SCVs again to buffer.
He's losing a lot of SCVs though. He needs to keep those to repair, because that's the strength of this push, is repairing the Thors.
Yeah, you know, Sheth has kind of stalled out this push just a little bit here. We'll have to see. It looks like a bit of a flank. Ah, no, the roaches getting a little bit over-eager there. I don't know about this push, though. I don't know.
No,
Sheth
it looked like it could have worked, but
pretty well.
He's lost too much already. It could have worked originally, but he lost a lot of... he lost Thors, he lost SCVs, and yeah, he's cutting off reinforcements in the middle there. Very smart.
And Sheth is doing the right thing here. I mean, he's slowly whittling down the army. He's not just trying to win one big fight, and he's coming in from behind. Yep, GG. And Sheth takes game number 3 already.